Hey guys, so recently I was asked to, share my take on intentional mothering. So, um, so here goes. I wrote down a handful of things that I just want to read to you, and I'd love for you to comment on your perspective of this. If certain things have worked, if certain things haven't worked. I definitely feel like, I could start this off by saying, like a mom only does these things, or a good mom looks like this, a certain way. And you know what? This is not that video. So anyway, I just want to share with you what I have. So here goes. When I was a little girl, I wished to grow up and become a mom. I had no idea what that meant at the time. And I remember I just remember that intensifying, the desire of being a mother, intensifying so much that I would have nightmares. And my nightmares were like that I was infertile. I know that might sound crazy to some people, but I just longed to be a mom. Like, I didn't mind what career choice I chose. I just knew that I wanted to be a mother. Like, I knew that I wanted to love on and pour into other people. And I knew that as a mom that I would have that advantage, in doing that. So I remember having nightmares of being infertile, and my mom waking up in the middle of the night with me and just praying and praying over my future children and praying over what God has for me in the future, and for as far as being married and like praying over my husband. And I know these are bizarre, especially at like maybe the age of like 9, 10, 11, 12-ish. The fact that these were so regular in my life, it was really bizarre. But I'm thankful that my mom was sensitive enough to realize that this was a fear that the enemy was trying to put in my life. And a teeny tiny bit of backstory is I literally have walked down this path, now, in my 40s. So I've walked down this path, and I've been pregnant 4 times, with full-term babies, and 4 times with miscarriages. So I've definitely still dealt with that. Like, God, I trust you. You know what I mean? Like, in parenting, in realizing that he has a time and a season for everything, so that's a little backstory. But anyway, so now I have four healthy children, and I'm definitely looking forward to meeting the other children that we were blessed with, to hold for whatever amount of time that I was pregnant with them, and the different ones varied, and we definitely look forward to meeting them in heaven one day, because I'm so convinced that they're already there, with the Father. Just excited to be with us, So anyway, I want to share a little nugget. So along the way, I've heard all kinds of little mom nuggets, like mom sayings, things to abide by, right? And but there's one in particular that was shared with me by Katie Luce, who's Ron Luce's wife. And if you don't know who they are, you can look them up. Really sweet couple, just with a passion for God, And so a little backstory on Ron is he was constantly, reaching out for missions and just trying to share the gospel. And so meanwhile, Katie's at home with her kids, and I used to mourn for Katie, because I thought, well, Katie doesn't get to share the gospel. Like, she doesn't get to share and go around the world with her husband, And anyway, I remember talking to her one day, and this was I guess it was around 1999, in the year 1999. So right before 2000. And Katie shared with me, she said, your home is the greatest mission field that God has sent you to. Don't take it lightly. It's an important job. And I just remember, all the way, here we are, 2020, okay? 20 years later. And this one conversation of this woman who realized and grasped, her husband literally is going around the world. He's preaching to all of these like huge, thousands and thousands of people in congregations and stuff. And he's sharing with them. He's, getting teenagers fired up and pumped up for God. And he's like going around the world. And to me, I'm like, wow, and she says to me, your mission field, if you're a mom, the greatest mission field is your home. And it was just like, it's taken 20 years to like keep working in my heart and keep working in my heart. And I just remember seasons where I would feel like, especially at church, if they're like, if you just know God's calling you to like go on missions, and and I have gone on a couple missions and loved it. Never for like fun, but like to just serve. And oh gosh, it just blew me away. It really, really blew me away. Like I really enjoyed my time, and I loved meeting people of all types of cultures. And it just, oh gosh, just the love for them just, overflowed my heart. And anyway, so I remember at times, in the last 20 years, like people would say, oh, like if you're called to go on missions, raise your hand, come and come away with us on this missions trip. And oh man, how I've wanted to. Like, I just remember I would cry and I would cry and I'd cry. And, my husband and my kids would, kind of tease me like, Mom's crying again. They're talking about missions. And, but the crazy thing is that even during all that time, I realized that like as a mom, you're literally setting aside, like on a bookshelf, right? You're setting aside some of the aspirations and dreams that you may have thought you were going to do. And in turn, you're actually, giving of yourself completely and fully to your family. And anyway, so I just love that. And I wanted to share that with you guys because I don't know. It's definitely a singular quote that has just poured into my life for 20 years. The same little small word, I don't know. It's been perfect. So anyway, before I go much further, let me say this. For anyone who is married or planning to be married, or if you have children and, you have a spouse, ladies, before we've got to love our husbands deeply. And, so sometimes we get so focused on the kids, right, that we forget that we have to love our husbands. And, so I feel that intentional mothering is actually loving my husband well. Like, I think that's simple, but you know what? I get it. Sometimes it's not. It sounds simple. The act of it's not always simple, right? So in loving my husband well, but you know what? Not just giving myself to my husband, but like loving God. Oh gosh, loving God so much more. Because here's the thing. As I love God and as I like allow him to minister to my heart, I change, right? So sometimes you might find like in a marriage, like you're bickering, you're quarreling about whatever, there's strife and there's stress, and I get it. Life is real, right? So it's not just like an easy peasy, roller coaster or whatever. It is definitely a roller coaster, ups and downs, crazy twists and turns and winds. And, but when when we love God and we allow him to pour himself into us and his word, that's life, it pours out to our husband and it pours out to our children, right? So when we're taking care of our husband and we're loving him well, it helps him to also do what God's called him to do, which then shows our children how to love well. So anyway, I had to show you guys, share that with you guys. So, all right. So I don't know if you guys have ever wanted, right, to share or be vulnerable, right? So here you go. So early on in my mothering, I remember the days of striving and comparison. I don't know about y'all, but all the moms seem to do it. I don't know if y'all experienced this, but I'm telling you, it was bad. All of the moms seem to do it. We compared the growth, the beauty, the intellect of our children to that of others. And we compared our successes and failures to that of every other mom. In doing so, we actually destroyed the value that we brought to the table of our own family we devalued our own selves. So like, I just completely had to share this because here's the reality. So I would literally go to like mom groups, right? And I'm like, maybe I was having a hard day or whatever. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to get together with some other moms. I'm going to have some adult conversation, and I'm going to feel refreshed. My kid's going to get some energy out, right? And I was just like, okay, I can do this, right? This is going to be a great day. Well, maybe I showed up and I was completely, absolutely exhausted. I don't know. Maybe I didn't look cutely coordinated or with my clothing, or maybe my kids showed up and like had snot dried on their face. Okay. Cause you know what, that happens. And so all of a sudden it becomes this fake, hey, oh my gosh, girl, hi. And it's fake. And anyway, so I dealt with that. I dealt with the you might be somebody who says hey that way. There's no problem with you. I love you. It's not that, right? Because I say hey sometimes. It's not that. It's how you say it. It's when you say it and there's judgment in your voice, judgment in your tone, judgment in your eyes. We all know what that looks like, right, ladies? Because oftentimes we compare ourselves to one another, right? So, you have a mom maybe who comes in and, she looks torn apart, right? She looks like she didn't even shower that morning. And maybe her kid, looks the same way. Maybe they smell, maybe they didn't, And then you have this mom who's completely put together, everything from head to toe. Her child has the prettiest bow, the prettiest outfit. And then all of a sudden judgment happens. Why? You know what I mean? Like, why? I wish we wouldn't do this as moms, right? I wish we would just love. Like, whew, parenting's hard. We can do this, right? So anyway, I remember so many stories that I could like tell you guys of moms intentionally and unintentionally hurting one another by our words, by our actions, and sometimes just by our looks, right? And so I there's this one lady and she shares about mom shaming, and that literally is exactly what we do. And I just know like that's not what God's called us to do. And anyway, so and then sometimes it goes so far as we can't leave the house unless we are so perfect, and our children are perfect, so that no other mom shames us, right? So then you start striving, right? So you're striving to look perfect on the outside or to look like someone else or be someone else. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you're trying, I don't know, just to do or be something that somebody else is doing and being, right? So here's the catch. This is something that I really believe like that the Lord shared with me. And so here it is. So God shared this beautiful truth with me. I'm telling you, he shared it right with my heart. He said, I need you as you. Your children and your husband need you and what you have to offer. So here's the deal, ladies. We get caught up on all the things that the world wants us to be. Oh, wow. But if you could grasp that God perfectly designed you to be exactly who you are. And when you are who you are perfect. It's like this puzzle, right? And if you try to turn and be like anyone else, you will not fit, right? But if you perfectly are who you are in Christ, then you fit. And that's the thing is like, instead of trying to be like everyone else, be you, because you are beautiful. You are amazing. Like God has called you to minister to your husband, like to minister to your children, to minister to the community around you. And like you are called with purpose to be you. So don't like shy down, right? Because like some of that mom shaming will be like, oh my gosh, she talked too much, right? So, oh, we don't like her. And then another day you might go and like, oh my gosh, she was so quiet. What was her problem? You know what I mean? So you really can't ever please anybody. So just be you. Just be you. And as you are you, it will become the most beautiful treasure to your husband, to your children, to the people around you. Just be you, So there it is. When I strive to be like others, I devalue, I devalue, right, the gifts that God has placed within me. So when I'm trying to be everyone else, then I almost say to God, like, who you created me to be is not good enough because I need to be like them, right? And can you imagine telling the God, the creator of all, like who gave you the most perfect gift in the entire world and like loaded you up with who you're supposed to be for this world? And you literally devalue that. It's almost like you giving your children a present right at Christmas and they literally throw it back in your face and they're like, I don't want that. We all know that's happened, right? But here's the thing. How much does that hurt, right? And so God, who knows the beginning, he knows the end, he knows all the crazy in between, and he literally has packed you full of who you're supposed to be for your family, for your husband, and for your community. And I'm excited as we all begin to start embracing who we are, right? And remember too, like, don't let other people be your role model. Like, God is your role model. Like, he is here to show us, like, his word shows us and guides us who we're supposed to be. So just let him be our role model. Anybody else, as much as they may try, they will fail us. They will fail us, right? So our security is in him. Let's see.